These folks may help themselves, just bring them to the light. Another way to live, another way to live this life. Through jaded eyes we've realized those things that are not true. Man, could they...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sheyld Show, the place where Alec and I get together each and every week to talk about Big Brother. This episode, however, is being simulcast across the internet with our lovely friends who are on the block. It is Spencer and McCrae, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what is up, man? Hey, it's so awesome for y'all to do this crossover. This is really fun. Like, McCrae and I have bullshitted about this for a while. We even talked about maybe like live podcasting in Toronto at finales or something like that. But this is a lot of fun. I'm really glad we're able to do this. So, thanks for making time for this, both you, Alec and Peter. So, what's up, McCrae?
What's going on with McCrae? What's happening? I think he's excited. He's too excited. The world's not colliding.
What's going on with him? I can't hear him at all.
I have no audio from McCrae. He really, how often does he say anything that's like
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
All right, sorry guys, I was panic freaking out, fixing everything. Our stream turned
McCrae,
out.
do we get like a little title thing that says like Alec fucking his best?
If everyone goes to, if you go to our stream right now, our live stream, this is being multi-streamed, but yeah, if you go to our stream, you'll see your little layouts. The quality is not so great because we got to go through Hangouts, but it looks awesome. That's a big, huge shout out to Earth Dog, killing it as always. It looks fucking badass. It like on the top is like on the block, and then on the bottom it says Sheyld Show,
saw the fucking
and it's got
logo that Earth Dog had made, the one with like the Sheyld Show and the fucking on the block just like colliding.
Yeah, it's so badass. Earth Dog killing it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so what's everyone's favorite TV crossovers? Let's just start it off by talking about that. I'm a Flintstones, Jetsons kind of guy.
I'm the critic, The Simpsons type of guy.
That's big. That's good.
Oh, gotcha. Batman, Scooby-Doo.
That's a good one too.
These are all amazing crossovers. My favorite crossover, there's an upcoming crossover that I'm actually very excited about. It's Bones and a Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, I just read about that. I was reading up about
The show that's like founded primarily in reality and it's like science-based is crossing over with a supernatural show. I don't have Bones to deal with this, but I'm very excited to find out.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, jeez, I can't do anything. All right, cool, excellent. All right, well,
Anyway,
who's gonna be the host of this sucker? Yeah.
I'll lead out with from where McCrae and I show last picked up. We pre-recorded, so we didn't know who won the veto, but Liz won the veto. She did not use it, and Johnny Mac and Becky's from the block. So now let's just go into. Basically, any kind of spoiler type thing that you want to talk about, and I'd like to evolve it into who's playing the best games. They're going to get them to the final four or final five, into that in-game position. So the floor's open. Go.
Well, the people that I think have the best shot at getting into the final four, let's say, even though there's a lot of bodies left, and let's not forget that we're going to have one body return. So even though obviously somebody's going again this week, and there's probably another double coming down the pipe within a relatively short time frame, but I would say that the people who have some of the best chances of getting to the Final Four has got to be the Twins. In fact, I think somehow, even though they there's two of them in there, they were part of a huge twist. And it's like the twist that completely didn't go the Twins' way back when it was first started years and years and years ago. But Liz and Julia have somehow found a way to be liked by the whole house. They're capable of winning competitions. They've got a solid alliance that keeps bringing in people all of the time. And I think they're strategically competent enough to get to that point. And then they're able to win these ball-rolling competitions, as it were, to get to the end. So I would be shocked to not see Liz and or Julia, but very likely both of them in the Final Four, just because of how they played. And now we're getting into the real nitty-gritty of the season and how they continue to demonstrate the ability to play well.
Well, essentially, you're talking about like logistical numbers. Like they are a huge threesome going into, or it'd be 8 Sure, someone's going to come back. That's going to hinder them. But still, they've got the majority. At this point, it's like, okay, even if one goes next week, they could have a chance of coming back. And, it's pretty much like you take out one, there's still going to be two. Those two can make it another 1 week. One drops again. And it's just like a matter of chance, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't do the maths. But their ratios are fucking looking awesome, I think.
Do you think there's any chance that Austin tries to build an alliance outside the Twins to split them up? He wanted to do that at one point in time. Do you think he's going to revisit that plan, knowing that numbers are dwindling? I think it might be smart if he did that in a way, even though it's going to be a very dangerous play. But he knows that he or they will be a target. If he helps put the target on them, it might start that direction. Because I think Austin's playing an awesome game. McCrae always says I kiss his ass, but I think Austin. I like the game Austin's playing. I think it's fucking awesome that he's basically. I had Earth Dog do up a little Photoshop thing of the Cat in the Hat with Thing 1 and Thing 2, and that's kind of what Austin is in the house. It's like this trio of just like they're willing to make deals. Like Johnny Mac said that he'd throw the veto. Okay, Johnny Mac's on the block, agreeing to throw the veto, which Austin is knows that he can work with Johnny Mac. Puts Johnny Mac in a good position, and that's when they're going to push Vanessa out. With you said Johnny Mac, what?
But Spencer, what has Austin done?
I didn't say he's a great fucking player. I said he's playing a good game. He's like there's nobody's playing a Dr. Will game.
Like what moves did he make? What was his plan that went through and it happened for him?
I'll tell you, Alec. I'll tell you what exactly what his plan was. Sixth Sense Alliance. He got Julia in the house, and it's kept her safe, and they've become more powerful than anything. Do you think that Sixth Sense Alliance? Who did it help more? More than Liz? Austin. Liz has suited up the most. Austin's who benefited second from that right there. Like that is a huge thing that he's done. When he was going to be the target. When he was going to be the target. When he was going to be the target for backdoored, he emotionally played to Shelley and Clay, who were running the house, said that he's fallen in love with Liz. Yes, I think that he was a little misguided, but he played the right approach there. He threw the right pitch, and he stayed in the house, okay? That was very important. Like I'm saying, he's not about
with Austin. Oh, my God. Smooch fest here.
I'm just saying, he's doing well. Hey, you ask a question,
get them knee pads ready.
Very good answers.
Oh, I gotta give some shit.
I can't hate on it, Spencer. I do think he's playing a good game. I don't see him as like a power player. Like, there are certain types of players that play the underrated good game. Like Spencer, you were one of those types of people that played the underrated. Didn't have to be on the front and center of all the move making, but you were still there every single week. By hook or by crook, you got yourself there. So I think Austin's kind of one of those players. I think that's a good, respectable way to play the game. Now, did anybody catch very quickly Austin's reference to Big Brother 2 in the most recent episode? It was the great. I know Peter got it. I know you did. But it was the greatest reference possibly ever on a show. Spencer or Craig, you guys catch it?
I don't think I did.
Naming the alliances.
What's that?
They were trying to find a name for their 5-person alliance.
He said he didn't like Squad. Is that?
No. Okay, Peter, go ahead.
It was his first or one of his first suggestions for the 5-person alliance.
Yeah. I don't even fucking remember.
I give up.
I don't fucking remember.
Go ahead, Peter.
So it's a Kent reference. So it's like weirdos and freaks or something like that.
Okay, it was. All right, listen. It was the sickos, weirdos, and freaks, the alternative lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. It seemed really off. That seemed like a weird comment to throw out there, but that's amazing.
It's a Kent and Bunky classic conversation.
Classic Kent reference.
Okay.
Yeah, which
right.
I like Austin. I liked him since the beginning. Obviously, as I've said numerous times on the Sheyld show, he likes wrestling and Big Brother. Those are the two things that are most passionate to me. Obviously, I'm going to have a soft spot for Austin. Back to Spencer's question, though, which was, is there a possibility for Austin to maybe go on the other side to get the Twins out? At one point in the game, I may have been inclined to agree with that or concede how that could become a potential scenario. But Austin's best case scenario, I think, to get to the end of this game is to probably go with them. I can understand that it would be a very bold move for at some point Austin to go against the grain and maybe help the others target the twins. But from the other side, like if you're James hearing this pitch, or if you're Meg hearing this pitch, it's probably not going to be particularly believable, just because Austin, now it's established. Like, there was a point in time in which Julia wasn't, at least to the rest of the house, reciprocating the love or affection that Austin was giving. Now she does. So now there's not that gray area where you could maybe believe that Austin would be going like from the specifically Liz and like the twins as a pair. Okay. So I think it would be such a hard sell, and I like Austin. We've seen numerous times on the show is really bad at lying, and so I don't think that he would be able to go someone like James is really switched on. And I like so there's no way he's gonna be able like I don't think John would like I just don't think that anyone's gonna believe this a potential scenario, and that's why it wouldn't work. It would be a crazy like really cool move, but I don't think it's in Austin's wheelhouse, and I don't think that's particular. Like I think that would be so against the type of game that he's established for himself, which is a very relaxed game for the most part. Like he's very comfortable, but not in a way that's like that's good. Like we often, any Big Brother alumni will tell you, the second you get comfortable is when you leave. But I feel like Austin has been like cautious, maybe is a better word, and he's phenomenal positionally right now because he's got basically 2 to 3 people who are all watching out for him. Liz for sure, and then Vanessa pretty much well, and then Julia probably in that order. And so, I don't think him going to the other side, maybe that would change depending on who comes back, or maybe if there's only one of them there. Like, let's say Liz gets the boot somehow, I don't know, and it's just Austin and Julia, and then not Liz comes back, then maybe he goes against them. But
the other thing is that he looks like a threat. The problem is that it's like, he may have all these buffers, but like he's just a big opportunity also. Like he's a big opportunity waiting to get out, because it's like you're never going to be like, well, let's not get out him. Like he's obviously looks like a comp threat. He's pretty smart, obviously. Like, I don't know. I think that there's just so many. Even if he has these buffers, if one of those buffers falls through, the next person gone is him, I imagine.
Well, we're in week 8 now. Don't you think that they would have, like, it's different when you're like a Howard, for example, who's like it's not believable. We're in week 8 now. And Austin,
it's weird, you guys. I want to get your take on this, because I think Peter hits a good point there, where I think when you first go into the house, there's no competitions under anyone's belt. So it's like, okay, we're going to go after this big, strong guy. That's why all these big, strong guys are usually only in the first few weeks. But Peter's right, because after you hit a certain point, the real comp threat actually becomes the person that has fluked out and won the competition. So, I mean, Liz, even though her and Julia are identical twins and the same in almost every single respect, I think Liz's target is 10 times greater than Julia's, not only because she's with Austin, but now because she's won this comp and also the veto. So she's proven that she can win these comps. And so if it's between Liz and Julia, they're going to be like, oh, Liz is a comp beast.
I always think that's like a fallacy of logic, right? Isn't that a fallacy of logic to be like, if something's always happened before means it never will happen again, or vice versa. Like if it's never happened before, it means it won't happen.
People don't understand that. That only applies if the competitions are random, which they pretty much are. Like if it was baseball and Liz had won 3 games, then it wouldn't be a logical fallacy to think she could win another game. But it's Big Brother. These competitions change every single day.
Okay, well, let's say, we're going to lose somebody this week, and somebody's coming back. So let's just play with around 8 or 9 people, okay? Maybe 7, 8, 9 people, because these 3 is still very strong. Alec, tell me, who do you put up? You've got HOH. Who would you put up out of that 3 if you want to bust it up? If you're going to make that move, which who do you nominate?
Who am I though?
You're just we'll say you're on the opposite side of the house. Let's say, okay.
Can I be Jody Mack?
You can be Meg. Be Meg.
You have the most complexion like James.
Meg.
I'm fucking Meg.
You're Meg.
All right, fine. I'll be Meg.
No, be Meg. I'm attracted to Meg. Don't confuse me.
This is horrible.
But anyway, really, but seriously, okay, I mean, like that's the question they're all asking themselves.
If I'm trying to break them up, I'll put up probably Liz and Austin. Just because if Austin wins it, if I don't put Austin up and I put Liz and Julia up, I think Austin now is the biggest comp threat of them all because I'm Meg. And
But-
so I don't put him up. So if he does win the veto, he takes off only one of them, and I split them up. If I put up Austin and Liz, and he wins it. If I put up the two twins and he wins it, then he can take off one of the twins and the other person. I don't know, man. Fuck.
But see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You're always going to have whoever you're leaving two people in the house pissed off at you that could win HOH. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anybody leaving the house has a potential. They're very dangerous. It's a thing you need to strike quick but win. The opposite side of the house, the James and Meg side of the house, is running out of allies to nominate in the event of they win the HOH. So they're going to have to start pulling this trigger. Right now, Vanessa is the easy person to put up and try to get her out of the house. Once Vanessa is gone, she's kind of the red herring right now. She's not even a meat shield. She's distractful because it's causing James and Meg and Johnny Mac and Becky to share information and to work closely with Vanessa, with the twins in Austin. So like they are in such a powerful position, and nobody wants to take that shot because even if you swing and you make it, you still got two people pissed off at you. It's I would love to see them in the final three. It can't happen. It can't happen. But they're almost too dangerous to touch, even going into like somebody coming back. You know, somebody's going to have to basically just throw away their game and say, shit, I'm not going to be able to win this thing. I've got to just make this ballsy move, try to get all the blood in my hands possible to set up my allies going forward. Somebody's going to take
That's
that
a
shot.
James move. That's
Honestly,
a James move.
I think Spencer that there is the only crack or the only chink in his armor is talking to Julia and like if I'm James or Meg, talk to Julia and try and get Austin out because he's bad for Liz's game or something.
Yeah.
Try and convince her
Sure.
of that. You're like, Julia, Austin is hurting Liz by putting this huge target on her back. We need to get rid of Austin so that it's just the two of you because Austin's gonna take Liz and Liz might take Austin in the end or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like try and work that angle. I think that's the only way to internally break them up.
I do agree. I think that's the only approach to try to pry anything in there is to try to get Julia up to get Liz away because as Liz falls more deeply into a showmance, an actual showmance with Austin, there's lots of selling points there. And the sisters, man, when they get at each other, they can be honest. They don't have that bullshit curtain of I'm playing a game with you. They've got you're my sister, I would tell you straight. So it would be fun to see that move start working in Julia's mind, if she tries to pull him
But she already hates him. She thinks he's gross.
Sure.
Like she has
Yeah.
eyes and a nose.
She's this Austin stink.
But there's only a limited amount of people that are going to be able to pull off that move. So it's either Julia does the move herself. So instead of like Austin leaving the twins, it's Julia splitting up the showmance, which I think she's capable of.
Sure.
Or it's James getting it. Like I think James is the only one who has the game sense and the.
I wouldn't call it game sense. I would call it the fucking three sheets in the window. I don't know.
Not going to be Meg. Like Meg has become the Victoria. Like
Sure.
real good for she's going to have a big check written across her beautiful, beautiful face real quick here.
Mm-hmm.
It might be John, and Steve's a wild card enough that, I guess maybe there are more options. I just think James would be the only one brazen enough to, like, with what he's done so far in the game to bring that to light. And, like, he's going to start to get desperate real quick, especially because if John or Becky's going to go this week. Mm-hmm. So that's another James ally that's gone. And he's going to start, to be like, okay, I got to do something. And maybe James is the type of guy that would take the grenade for say, the rest of his alliance, which at that point is basically Meg.
Yeah.
But maybe he's a real sweet guy. Like he's compassionate and stuff. So I'm taking liking to Steve this week because like nobody likes Steve. And it's like James might have the compassion factor to like take that bullet. But if anyone is capable of like kind of like planting the seed and like bringing it back around. Maybe it's James, but it's gonna have to take something happening where like Julia has to see the light at the end of the tunnel and see like, damn, this game's winnable with my sister, and the person that has to go for that to happen is Austin. My fear is that they'll think of that and they'll get Vanessa to help them, and then it'll be Vanessa losing Julia at the end. And I want Vanessa to go yesterday.
Okay.
Bad baby, nasty Nessie sticking around.
Dude, she is. She's got some game in her, man. She's had a time. I do think that next week, depending on who wins HOH, it looks like either Vanessa or James should be going home. I don't think anybody's got a reason to get Meg out. Do y'all see Meg as the GOAT final 2? I mean, totally across the board.
I see her winning.
I would love for her to win too. But unless they do, which is unlikely, but unless they do an Austin's Angels, like, hey, we started this on day 1. Let's go to the end.
Keith is rolling in his grave on that one, by the way. R.I.P. Keith.
R.I.P. Keith. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Vanessa, yeah, she's gonna have to go. I foresee her winning HOH though for some reason. I just feel like that's the way it's one of those like where it's like, oh, this person's on their last leg. They're gonna pull some desperate gambit. They're gonna make it through. I don't know. It's either her or Johnny Mac. I don't know.
The gods high on Mount
you guys
Olympus.
watch a lot of the live feeds and the after acts and all that. How serious are Liz and Julia and Austin considering putting up Vanessa? Is that just like that's not a red herring from the live or the
no.
show?
I think they're pretty serious about it. I think
no. I think they're pretty serious about wanting somebody else to put her up and them being the 3 votes to get her out. I don't necessarily think that any one of them would make that move. Now I could be wrong. I've not. McCrae, have you seen contradict that? Like,
I think that they're pretty much like, they're pretty much putting on everyone else. They're trying to build up like the house whip them up into a fervor and just like, yeah, let's get her out. Yeah, she's next. Like, get the pitchforks. Like, so I think they're like pretty much setting up her demise, but. That's what happens in Big Brother.
Well,
Shit changes.
Here's what I like about that play. That might just be the twins and Austin doing something that Becky and John should have done. I was so surprised when friggin' Becky goes up and throws out Vanessa as the potential other target. Like, if you know they're all working together, like, why the fuck would you throw them up as a target? Throw up James or somebody that actually has, like, a shot, because they're on the other side of the house. I was so disappointed. Like, Becky, I've railed off on Becky in the last shit I was doing, so I don't want to go that far again, but her game just keeps getting worse and worse and goddamn worse.
Like, yeah, Becky's trying to play that, I'm not going to rat out people I can work with, blah, blah, blah. But at that point, you're right. She needs to, let's save your game time, try to pitch something logical to them, but you're right, absolutely. So, what do we think about Steve and Johnny Mac? I want to just hear your thoughts. Because I think that Steve wants to keep Vanessa in the game. Steve thinks that he can beat Vanessa in the final 2. Okay, he said that to the camera. So that's interesting. I'm afraid that I think that Steve's a blind spot in Johnny Mac's game. I think that Johnny Mac's going to share too much of the other the other side of the house information. And next week, depending on who's on power, even though Vanessa is wanting to target James and Meg. I think that Johnny Mac would be a backdoor option for her to weasel in and could possibly get it done. That's what do y'all think about that? Any possibilities there, you think?
I'd be personally curious to see. I'll be fascinated to talk to Steve to see how he perceived his own game. Because obviously on the television version, he's either not there or he's a joke character. Mm-hmm. Now, we saw a fallout from his HOH in which he was, doing some acting, some crying with the girls and whatnot. Whether, what percentage of that was real or not remains to be seen. But he has not, aside from his HOH, which, that's, having power directly given to you so you have to do something. What, in his own mind as a super fan, I would be curious to see, how has he thought that he's manipulated the events, controlled the vote, which I think is a huge part of the game, especially in the first half or even 3/4. Vote control is so big. He hasn't done any of those things. So he must think that he's got the greatest social game in the world, and we know that that's not true. So I don't see how Steve could reason that he would beat Vanessa in the end. I just that's such a I don't. Because it'd be different as, for me, I thought at one point, okay, I got to get to the end with Jillian because nobody's going to vote for Jillian in the end. She's somebody that I can beat. But I don't think that Steve would view Vanessa as someone who has nothing going on in the house for her and is kind of a useful player. Because it's, one, they're kind of aligned, and two, I think he would see her as someone who's controlling most of the stuff in there. So I don't know what the hell's going on in Steve's head, but I'll be, maybe your house is just breaking it down.
Yeah, he thinks that she's got too much blood on her hands, and that's the perfect reason to take her. So, like I said, I don't know. I do fear that Johnny Mac and Steve's relationship could hurt Johnny Mac. I think the next week, depending on who wins HOH, like I said, either Vanessa's going to go. Steve has been coaching Johnny Mac the past few days to work on Vanessa, to start building the kind of relationship with her to where that she won't target him. Because, like I said, as it's been clear on the show, that Johnny Mac and Vanessa are Steve's two greatest allies. Johnny
Mac played a fucking awful game with Vanessa. I'm just going to go out and say it. I'm a gigantic Johnny Mac fan, not for his game, just because of who he is. His gameplay with Vanessa in that room was absolutely fucking horrendous. I wanted to puke and fucking throw a bottle of acid all over my face.
Like cringing.
It was awful. It's like all he has to do is just be like, okay, yeah, let's definitely work together. Let's take this deal. Let's go, 1 week at a time. Perfect. That's all Vanessa wants to hear. Now he fucking puts himself up as a major target by just being a complete fucking idiot. Like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with him and Becky. They're like pit bulls locked in on getting Vanessa out, and they can't even fake it. It's fucking Big Brother, man. Smile to the face and stab him in the back.
Vanessa has a huge ego, and just like when I think that he was toast in the house once he said to Vanessa that I helped you win that HOH, I helped you study, blah 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 blah, and that I think she thinks she's so freaking smart that no, you couldn't do that. How dare you say that? I did that on my own. That kind of thing. I think that kind of struck her ego, and I think that when Johnny Mac was calling her saying, "Oh, I felt bullied," blah blah blah, that also kind of hit that same chord with her, and it really pissed her off. But like I said, she's wanting to get James and Meg out, so maybe he's done enough social game with her that he's not scared anymore, or she's not.
I think it's really crappy gameplay to not just be smile and be like, yeah, of course. But at the same time, I think that Vanessa is she is logic. Everything is logical, everything is reason, everything is motive, and all this stuff. If you're Johnny Mac and you're just going I'm just gonna do wacky shit, just be chaos. If you are chaos, that's what beats logic and reason. If you just do the craziest thing next, how can she ever plan for that? That makes her short circuit, and actually that's kind of what's been happening. She has been short circuiting and
But that's not. But that's not Johnny Mac's game. Johnny Mac's game is not chaos.
No, of course, but that's
Johnny
what's happening.
Johnny Mac's game has been I don't really know what's going on here, and then it got brought out that he was sharing information with Clay, and Vanessa became aware that he was playing the game a little bit more, of course, and she would that's where a lot of it sort of started festering from. So Johnny Mac has revealed himself as somebody that's talking to people and talking about Vanessa, and not in the most flattering way. So she knows that there's stuff going on, and that's where that acrimony started, I believe.
But you saw her what I didn't like about that. I agree that I don't think John played it particularly well. However, that's kind of what his group is. His side of the house is. They just put kind of everything on Front Street. They kind of acknowledge the line of division, and they don't pander to the other side very much. So maybe it's just a case of John exemplifying the type of play that his side of the house has. Maybe, but I agree that maybe in a normal situation you would have placated her a little bit more, told her what she wanted to hear. Because anytime Vanessa hears something that's anti-Vanessa or bad about Vanessa or doesn't put Vanessa in the best possible, most fantastic light, she has a complete and total breakdown, and I, for one, am completely sick of it. You saw her; she scurried upstairs, ran to cry to tell all of her friends that John's gonna go because he wouldn't tell Vanessa what she wanted to hear. And I'm just sick to death of it. Spencer, you hit it right on the head. This girl has
what, man? Come on! All right, listen. You hate on Vanessa's game. She's annoying. You hate on Vanessa's game because she's emotional and she cries. Listen, she gets out people that want her out. She's a completely self-serving player, which is what every single Big Brother player should be. They should be out there trying to make moves to protect themselves above everyone else. What did Liz do with her HOH? Vanessa's bidding, essentially. John and Becky are Vanessa's two biggest targets, and one of them's going home. Vanessa is playing the game for herself. She gets pissed off when people can't see the logic in her arguments and all this. All she wants to do is make some fucking deals. She's never gone back on on her word. Everybody on Twitter says, "Oh, she gave her word that she was gonna put up Austin." She never gave her fucking word. She was just like, "I'm gonna put up Austin. That's what I'm gonna do." She never gave her word though. She hasn't once gone back on her word. If she tells you something and makes a deal with you, unless she does actually do that somewhere along the line, which I don't think she ever would do, then she is just a straight up player, like she says and like she believes.
Well, forming Dark Moon Alliance to keep those people safe. that's not only just saying a fib, that's actually giving somebody a false sense of security and then putting them on the block at the veto ceremony. So, like, she has gone back on her word. Maybe not
shit.
like,
That's what the game
maybe
is.
not on
Like,
something. What's
yeah.
that? But that's the game. Yeah, and I'm not hating on her.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter, Alec, y'all watch the feature in our season. Okay, does her like over emotional deliveries, does that remind y'all of Helen, our season?
I thought you were gonna say Amanda.
No.
No, you know who she reminds me the most of is Liza. If Liza wouldn't have gotten into like the showman's character and would have just like, not that Liza was ever going to be any like I will certainly concede that Vanessa is a very good like selfish Big Brother player, which is like she's done a great job. I do think it's going to catch up with her, but the way that she reacts to things, just anything that's not like anything that's not going her way, she gets in a big huff and puff about it, and she just can't figure out why everything, isn't revolving around her and isn't like being constructed to make her great. So, like on a personal level, the person that she most reminds me of is Liza, because she's smart. She's someone who considers themselves as being very smart, but when it doesn't go their way, they go absolutely bonkers.
No, it's not that it doesn't go her way. It's just something happens that she doesn't understand. Like Clay, one of her closer allies, basically blatantly lies to her face, saying that James and Johnny Mac are conspiring against her, whatever. And she's like, "What the fuck? Why is Clay lying to my face? He's supposed to be one of my big, strong allies with Shelley, and he's going home. There's no reason for him to do this. What the fuck is going on?" How is she supposed to react? It turns out Clay is just an idiot and mixed shit up. But I mean, that's how I would react if somebody,
I think Vanessa's like a mirror.
Feeding me misinformation. That's how I would react.
I think however you look at Vanessa is how you see yourself. Think about that one for a little bit.
That kind of remind me of me, honestly, man. In my eviction week, I was like, "Why the fuck are you putting me up, Jillian? I've done nothing to you. Like, this doesn't make any sense." I was super emotional about it.
Well,
it really does hit home with me. It's like.
I also think that it's a control thing. Like, I think that she's a person that needs control. I think that she likes control, and I think that like when she doesn't have control of what she perceives as a situation, like it's a struggle, and it's like she's got to find control again. I don't know. That's my couch armchair psychology.
She's a control freak. That's 100% true. 100% true. Control freak.
I just think it's so I think right now today is day 61, something like that, and it has a 98-day game. So she's got about a little over a month left with a lot of boots to go, and it's just like I think her her hourglass is like on its last. Like I think it's running out. Like I don't know.
Hell yes.
Because some people look at her sideways as like you said, like she's kind of the next in line target-wise for a lot of people, even those who are closely aligned with her. And she continue, like every week we see her have some kind of a breakdown, and that's just maybe the house getting to her. Like the house gets to everybody in a different way. And it's like I will never hold anyone at in real world fault for that, but within the context of the game itself, she just breaks down every week. And like when she thinks that she might be in trouble, she shuts down. Even this week when it was speculated, maybe that she'll be the replacement nominee, maybe Liz will use the veto. Hard to say, she shuts right down and goes into this weird kind of hibernation mode. And then as soon as it kind of gets out, she gets the right information from the right sources that she's okay. She's right back at it and ready to play again. So it's like when things are going good for Vanessa, she's raring to go, and she's very productive in the game, and she certainly demonstrated the ability.
Hey, listen, so Peter, what you're saying, these are all good qualities. I don't understand why.
She'll be, there's just too many bodies left with too many eyes looking at her.
But how is that not endearing to the audience of Big Brother? Watching somebody going through this, she's giving us the whole range of emotions that we look for in a Big Brother player. Why does everyone hate her?
I don't know. Fuck that.
I don't understand.
Endearing, whatever. No. Those are two different. Those are two separate things. I think that needs to be separated, right? Entertainment, value of a person, and gameplay of a person.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex, she's very train wreckish, but the point of watching the train wreck is it's going to wreck. If she survives the next 2 evictions after this one, of course, I'll give her 2 more. She survives 2. She deserves to win the whole damn game. Okay. Because she will have wiggled herself into a awesome spot, and whoever comes back might want to work with her because she will be on the outs. I mean, there's no telling how she'll play anything to her advantage. Like, one thing with Vanessa is she makes some fucking awesome deals. She's brought deals to the table that's never been done. Never seen on Big Brother, like on a very regular basis. I mean, she even told Austin today, I think it was today, that if she wins the game, she will use all the money, because he knows she's a poker player, that she'll use all the money to play a big poker tournament, and she'll split the winnings with him. And that's not against the rules. That's not against the rules to do that. And, like, that kind of stuff is awesome. Because, Austin in the back of his mind's thinking, hey, maybe.
Guys, have you seen, Spencer, on that note, have you seen anybody do what Vanessa did, where she said, if you get the player pick me and I'll use the veto on you, to both nominees, and then completely just transparent about it to both nominees. Like, pick me, I'll use it on you. Houseguest choice. Because I thought that was a brilliant move, and I don't recall seeing that in any other like
I think it just depends on how ballsy you are as a player. It's
Yeah.
like, fuck it, yeah, I'll tell them both. Who gives a shit? They'll never compare notes.
It's
Like, we're going into
though,
veto.
right? If you're afraid of getting backdoored, if you're like, oh fuck, I don't get along with this HOH, you might backdoor me or he might backdoor me. Like, you guys want to get off the block? Fucking, if you get a Houseguest choice, pick me. I'll go up there, take you off, then we're both safe, man. It's all. Like, that to me was brilliant, and I had never seen that before.
Yeah.
That really is, absolutely.
That should be named as like a thing that people do, because I think that's just like fucking. That's
Dude.
like a backdoor. That's like a nail in the back door.
Dude, I'm glad that you brought that up, because like a doorstop, back door stop.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about something that should be there should be a name for it. There's not, okay? When you make a deal with somebody that you have no intention to keep, but the deal is only made or agreed to just with the hopes that they'll keep the deal. You see what I'm saying? That's basically every Big Brother deal. But that deal should have a specific name for it. So you can say, oh, Johnny Mac made a blah, blah, blah deal with Austin today.
It sounds like the not so politically correct term of Indian giving, essentially. I don't know. Would that be? It's kind of like that? Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of like I was trying to think of like you're exactly on the right track. It seems like there should be like a less offensive term you could use to like describe it. Like I thought of like gypsy deal. Can you make gypsy deals?
That's
Is that
even
anything?
worse. That's just as bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe you guys should
15.
stay away from like those kind of
Season
names.
15, baby.
Maybe we should let the Canadians name it rather than the season 15.
Yeah.
Your Pollock deal. Oh, Pollock deals. Those fuckers never keep their word.
I thought of doing maybe something, maybe we could take it together as like a project or something. But I thought of one of the things that we could just sort of sidetrack a little bit. Maybe do like an official big. I know that a lot of people talk about doing like an official Big Brother dictionary.
Yeah.
But that's a segment that I thought about pitching to add to Sideshow for this upcoming season for Big Brother Canada 4. So maybe do like once an episode. Like for the 10 weeks or whatever that it is, I'd take like the 10 most common, or maybe even some uncommon like Big Brother terms, or maybe ones that we make up like this,
Pollock deal. My money's behind Pollock deal.
Whatever it ends up being called, and having doesn't mean like
it's
there's
okay.
so
I
many
can use
different-
that word. I can use the P word. All right.
Oh
I'm Pollock. All right.
I didn't know that the G word was a thing. I thought that was just like
that's not okay. You can't say gypped. You can't say gypped anymore.
Gypsy. I think you say gypsy.
No, gypped. Like someone gypped you out of your money. Yeah, that's slang for gypsy. That's not good.
But is gypsy a bad word? I didn't know it was.
I think it is.
I thought it was just like people.
It's
What's that?
Yeah, the connotations are negative now, so much so that I think it's become not okay.
You can't be like if you put a quarter into the machine and you dial it up and then no gumball comes out, you can't say I got gypped.
No,
You can't say
it's slang
that?
for
Highly
gypsy. It's
offensive.
slang for gypsy.
Like I know that like in school they say
This is the territory I love. Sorry.
Yeah, they used to say Indian style growing up, but now they say crisscross applesauce. I've never heard that before. Too. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Have you heard both yet? So
Oh god.
anyway,
What else?
Maybe
we got?
there's so many like what's the difference between a coaster and a floater, and like all these kind of like
exactly.
We talked about it
Hey,
on our show.
Peter,
plenty,
if you do
but-
that, if you pitch that and they get picked up for a sideshow segment, I think that it would only be fair if you got McCrae and I flown up there to participate in the segment. I don't know.
I'll
I'm not
Skype in
giving
the
you
fucker.
Make the Pollock deal with them, Peter.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't use that word.
Definitely do.
four of us.
You can't
So
use
we're
the
not-
P word.
Great.
That's my people's word.
Oh man. Hey, it's worth mentioning that Austin and Steve have gotten really close, and Austin shared a lot of Vanessa's secrets or lies and that kind of stuff with Steve. So anyway, that's something to pay attention to, which to me means that Austin's put himself in a good position, and Steve is also in a good position with that if that's a true loyalty. So
well, here's what I had like a little flashback to Big Brother 14 this week, and even though I think it's coming chronologically a few weeks earlier than it did with Ian, but it was kind of the Quack Pack, whatever group that was up in the HOH room that kind of happened into, and then he became a part of and ended up being the successful, he won the damn thing. He was the successful member of that group. But Steve joining Vanessa, Austin, and the twins kind of gave me flashbacks to that. So, look, so, I mean, I guess back to, like, can Steve win, or, like, why would Steve think that he could win question? If Steve runs through everybody, including that alliance, then maybe the case could be made. Because it's like, look, we are only two people in the journey with one on the way, but there's still so much game left to be played, and it's like people are largely judged. You're basically judged on what you did before you went home, or like the last 2 odd weeks of your game before you either win or you get to the end.
Sure.
And so, people have a real short-term memories, both Big Brother fans and Big Brother players, especially when you're in the house. It's always, what have you done for me lately? Yeah. So if Steve can get into that group and go on some kind of a run, or at least feel like he's involved in the decision-making process of getting everybody else out. Let's say that it is the 4 of them and Steve in the final 5, which is unlikely, but let's just for the sake of argument. And then and then they decide, and then Austin decides, okay, well, maybe Steve's the guy that I want in this equation, not Vanessa. And it's Austin and Steve versus the twins, and then, the Julia takes out Austin, and then it's Steve versus the twins, and Steve gets to the end. Then maybe he's got some kind of arguments. Anyway, it reminded me of Ian, and since Steve was kind of the Ian character anyway, I was just maybe it could repeat itself.
Absolutely.
No, Peter, I think you're right. I think that if basically what you're saying is Steve's playing that "hey, I'm a number" game right now, but if he gets to the end and he wins a couple of comps, he could actually get just the right blood on his hands just at the right time to actually hang his hat on something at the end, and he's going to need it. Alec, yes, you have a question in the back?
Guys, do you guys want to know why I think there will be a Steve Austin Final 2?
I tell you why I think there'll be a Steve Austin.
No! Because Stone Cold said so.
Steve Austin.
That'd be amazing, actually.
That would be
and I've never thought of that until Lyle brought it up, which so thank you for that. But
see, I was thinking $6 Million Man.
Oh, I see.
Steve Austin. But anyway. Showing my age again. No, I didn't watch that fucking show.
$500 million man.
What's that? Yeah.
$500 million man.
Yeah. I think Steve actually is Ian. There's no Can you guys think of anything that's different about Steve and Ian other than height? I'm not even sure how tall Steve is.
Steve is more musically inclined, I think.
Yeah, Steve can play an instrument. Yeah.
No,
I don't know, man. I definitely would 100% think that Ian has more social skills than Steve.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think that Ian's social skills are bad by any means, and I don't think that Steve's social skills are bad by any means either. I think that Steve is definitely playing that aspect up. I think that he knew I'm gonna be the fucking awkward guy, and I'll be so fucking lovable, and everyone will be like.
No, but did he? Honestly, wait.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I did too. Maybe it'd be accident or not cognizantly, but I think at the same time it works out because it's I'm just so unaware and unassuming.
Well, no, McCrae, honestly, I think you're giving him too much credit for self-awareness. I don't think that for a second he thought that he was as socially at a deficit as he would be when he stepped in that house compared to the other house guests. This dude spends time in rooms talking to himself. I mean, that's rare. Dude. Even Donnie was an outcast; they were afraid of Donnie. Mm-hmm. But he at least sat around and ate his cereal in front of people. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're buying into the edit way too hard. No, you're buying that shit. Eat up your edit.
Oh, fuck it. No, the first few weeks he was so fucking recluse and awkward, and I mean, he's blossomed more
Look where
now.
he is
I'll
now.
absolutely
He's
say
set
that.
the fuck up. He didn't make any fucking crazy deals with anyone. Like that like literally barricaded him from like really making any stupid mistakes. Essentially, like you don't jump
Sure.
into any moving companies or any like bomb squads. You know, like you are reclusive. You know.
I think Steve set up really well, especially with the huge divide in the house with the Sixth Sense versus the fucking, I don't know what they need a name. They keep calling themselves the Other Side. Anyway, Steve is in the middle there, and I think he's in great shape. Like he took out one of James and Meg's only allies, and he seems to be getting out of it pretty scot-free. Like I haven't heard a lot of rumblings of Meg and James coming after him.
Dude,
You know,
They need a number. They can't. They've got to just say, "Oh man, we forgive you. That sucks, but hey, Steve, we need you." Like they're at the point where they don't have enough. There's not enough people to choose from. They've got to forgive Steve, which is a really weird position to be in. That you're begging the guy that just had HOH sent your ally home to now become your ally. So
He doesn't believe them. So I mean, they're kind of damned if they do or damned if they don't.
Yeah.
I just thought so. If you're gonna play Big Brother Canada 4 or Big Brother USA 18 next year, and if your alliance is referred to as the other side of the house, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You were fucked.
Start be proactive. Like if conceptually in your mind you are on the other side and you are in a non-name, non-functioning, non-power based alliance, and you're just sitting in a room going, well, I guess it's us against them.
yeah. Also, if your leader wears a stupid like knitted wool cat hat,
Yeah.
you might also have some problems.
Just-
Yeah, exactly. Well, like hell, the first half of the house, I don't think Meg walked up the HOH stairs hardly, except for just a shower or something. You know, like it was clearly divided upstairs and downstairs. And anyway, the lines
If
are
you're
very,
not in a
very
named
rarely
alliance by
blurred.
this point, you are fucked. You're shit out of luck.
But I mean,
Even
you
if
can make new alliance and stuff. But so to that point, is James screwed, short term and long term, because he's got like in one way or another, he's kind of the figurehead of this other side.
Yep.
And I think he's kind of like he's not only drawn a line in the sand, but he's drawn like a circle around him. So it's kind of like he's like, you know, he's almost on an island unto himself, even though he does, you know, he's got some support and stuff, but just because of the nature of the game that he's played up until this point, I think it would be like not totally believable for him to kind of be self-aware enough to try to seek out the other side. I think he's so determined to be on like the, hey, this is me and my boys against you and yours.
Us versus
Sure.
them mentality.
I know else, like later we kind of like I said that if anyone was going to be able to break up, maybe the Twiz and Austin, it could be like James maybe could get in there. But I think that would have to be his absolute last resort. I think all of his other allies would have to go. I think he would have to be completely alone in order for that idea to even start to enter his mind. I think he's put the colors of his crew on his shirt, and it's just like, no, this is how it's going to be. And like there are ways, like it's kind of like Caleb in a way where you can respect that kind of game to a degree because of its unwavering loyalty, but also in like it's Big Brother, and you have to be able to realize when to cut your losses and elsewhere. So like I think James is a really interesting character and player, and not at all what I would have expected from him at any point in the preseason at all. Like completely different. And he's one of the best surprises of the year, I think.
No, I agree, dude. I agree. I do hate his ride or die mentality, and I even hate that expression. But you're right. It's almost like he's waving this banner of it's us versus them. And what I hate about it is, like we talked earlier, is it looks like Meg's gonna go far because she's a goat. James needs Meg to go. If Meg would go first and James would have to like really regather himself and start a new game, wheeling and dealing, I would love to see that, because I think he's got potential for that. But like Peter said, he's too big a target for the other side of the house. He's the head of the snake at this point. Has been really, but.
Is that really true though, Spencer? I'm asking because I don't know. Do they actually see James as like the head of the snake? And if so, why the hell didn't they get him out this week?
I think they see James as okay. The reason they didn't get him out this week is I think because Becky was a more vocal target who was with all last week with Vanessa and all that stuff. I think that's more what kept Becky on the radar to make her the target this week. I think that they see James as the one that can win competitions, the one that kind of can think Meg is very open about how she sucks at comps. She's this, there. She basically is just waiting for somebody to tell her what to do to a certain extent. I don't think she's very game driven. I think she's very week to week driven. I think it's more of a summer camp for her as far as the way they see it.
Also,
I think James
I hate when people are like, "Oh, it's not a summer camp." Man, Big Brother is nothing but summer camp. Like, how is it nothing? It is summer camp. There's I gotta be quiet. There's people that group up. There's cliques that click up. People get sick. They go home. I think it's totally summer camp. I think it's like survival of the fittest.
I think that's a really interesting thing that you're touching on, though, because people get mad. It comes back to the Vanessa thing. People get mad when they're not being entertaining to the viewer. I think the viewer wants to sit back and watch people dance around like monkeys for them. Yeah. They're like, "Oh, Johnny Mac is great. Why isn't everyone like throwing their own game away to save Johnny Mac?" Like it's a similar kind of thing. Like if you're treating it like summer camp, that's great, man. Like that's awesome for you. Just like have your fucking time. Everybody's got selfish motivations. We're all human beings. That's just how fucking evolution made us. But sorry for the religious people out there. Anyway, it's the same thing with your game. Absolutely. Like you're not gonna go out and just like try and save the really entertaining people. You're gonna save the people that you want to work with, and it is kind of this weird mob mentality where people want to save the Davons, and they hate whoever gets Davon out, even though it might be the best thing for that person's game. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Like there is this, you do wrestle with your obligation to entertain and your obligation to keep yourself safe.
Yes.
Again, I really want to say I'm sorry to the religious on the block contingent. Really sorry about Alex's content, his comments right there. Oh, it's huge.
Like 98% of your audience are devout Christians.
Yeah, it's surprisingly, yes, they are.
That's what it says in our YouTube analytics. You can click.
Surprisingly, a large number of ISIS.
But let's throw some stats at you. Let's statistical on this right now, because a lot of people, and I can think of one in particular from Big Brother Canada who always hates it, always goes off on how it's not fair and how much he doesn't like it. And Emmett and a lot of other people hate the comeback. They hate people coming back into the game, and a lot of people get very vocal about it. It's not fair. It's not this. It's not that. It's not the other thing. It shouldn't happen. You get one life, and that's it. You're done. But in 5 of, and I tweeted this out, I don't know, a few weeks ago, but we'll talk about it now because I think it'd be an interesting kind of thing to bring up. In 5 of the 6 most recent North American seasons, someone has returned after being evicted. So, that's the only one. Big Brother Canada 2 is the only exception in the last 6 seasons in which someone has not came back, either pre-jury, jury, whatever. Okay. In 7 of 17 seasons, it's 41%. So 41% of Big Brother USA seasons, someone has returned after being evicted. So that's Amy, Kaser, Sharon and James, Brendan, Judd, Nicole, and whoever comes back in this season. And obviously 2 of the 3 Canadian ones. And so the average amount for USA, since it's an American season, the average amount of days that people return after for their second run in the house is 25. Now that's skewed a little bit because Sharon came back super early and went super late. Yeah. But Sharon was 67, Amy with 35, James with 28. But James was a revolving door too. Anyway, Judd with 20, Nicole with 14, Brennan and Kieser each with 7. So our last 2 USA ones were Judd and Nicole, and they got about 2 to 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. So both examples, it wasn't a case of a person entering and then immediately exiting back. So for whoever comes at whatever point in this season, do we think that maybe this year will be against the trend? Maybe it'll go to 20, 14, 7? Or, where with the way that the house is kind of situated right now, how long do we think whoever returns is going to stay? And then people stop complaining about people returning, since it is now, it's 41%, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I give them 3 weeks, 21 days. Yep. The person that returns, I give them a long time because they're going to come in and they're going to be needed. And that's it. I don't think there'll be a reason to target the person that comes in.
It's totally dependent on what they do, how they come back in, who they
and who comes back in. Of course, there's a lot of that, but I'll give it. I'm saying 21 days. If we're going to have a pool about it, that's what I would say.
Because it's easy to say, like, oh yeah, all of us together, we're all going to just kick that person out, see you later. But it's like, there's not a full team alliance. Like, everyone is broken up still. There's still divides and there's still cracks. And the people that are opportunistic and know what the hell they're doing will see that this is the perfect opportunity to switch up the status quo, essentially.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with you guys. I think it's actually really weird that there are so many people, like, I guess Big Brother lore, as Peter was kind of going through, is kind of littered with people that do kind of just go back out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how bad do you have to be to get voted out twice in like a couple weeks when so many things change within that week that you're gone? Like, new enemies are formed, new alliances are formed, and all that. It's just like,
sure.
Yeah, I think that's a huge advantage coming back in.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, like, when you leave, there becomes a void in the house, and so other relationships form up. So during that time that you're not there, you weren't there. You weren't involved in these conversations. You weren't in this bonding. You weren't there, and somebody's like, it might be the first time they realize that they need somebody else in their long-term game because you're not there now. And as you come back in,
oftentimes you're bonding over a common enemy, though. You know what I mean? Like, you're right, these friendships do form, but it's friendships out of necessity. If that void is there, it's like, okay, there's one less person. I become a bigger target just by like, mathematics, and now I need you to help me get this person out. Is kind of where I'm thinking that the angle is for that. That's why I think you have a huge advantage. It's more of an advantage than disadvantage to come out. That's why I think, like, I don't know, somebody like Dan Giesling had like a really good advantage because he was there watching everything form when he wasn't actually even like up to be a target. Like, he was a coach. The coaches had a huge advantage in that game because they were able to see where all the alliances were and where everybody was like, all their targets were, but they weren't actually up for eviction themselves, or they weren't actually able to become targets.
Free ride.
Yeah, it's a free ride, and I think that's like... Yeah.
Talk about summer camp.
Yeah.
That first, was it 4 or 5 weeks of coaching? Shit.
Greatest job in the world. Just go in there.
Yeah, exactly.
You're hanging out.
Yes. Jeez.
Yeah, I'd put that on a resume. What was your last work, Mr. Clausen? I was a coach on Big Brother. 5 weeks of my life. What'd you do? I just sat and watched this.
Manipulation.
Yep.
Okay, guys, who is actually going, though? It's not Johnny Mac, right? It's Becky, for sure.
It sounds like Becky's going to go. If they voted right now, it sounds like she would go.
Yep.
Things are subject to change as always,
but...
what's
Johnny Mac made that deal with Austin about throwing the veto, and Johnny did go out the first round of OTEV, so Austin and the Twins feel like they can work with Johnny Mac. I don't see any reason.
Do you think he threw it?
I mean, he said he would. So I mean, he went out the first round.
But that's what
I mean.
Said
I don't know.
We fucking were like, hey, throw the veto that you're fucking on the block. You were like, yeah, okay.
I didn't. That's not at all what the fuck I said. I said, hell no. I said, I'll give you 3. I'll give you 2 or 3 rounds of hold and fold, and then I'm gonna start playing.
Yeah.
And then that's what I'm not telling out.
I just
and
do not.
fucking shot me.
I just don't think that anyone ever of sound mind would just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna throw a veto competition, like especially when he's got.
Though in the same season, though, right? It's like
logical fallacy of logic.
Is the thrower, right? It's
Well, no. Wait, yes. Now he's had a track record for throwing comps, but that's not exactly what's going on here. He'd also told Becky that he thought the best way to save them both was that if she won the veto and there was a renom, because there'd be a better chance to keep Johnny Mac. So I don't think that it was his plan to win the veto. I think he just played that information to both to 2 parties that would like that. I don't know. That's just what I think. So
it's one of those.
I have a John-related quit. So he's kind of universally beloved by the audience for being a great character, a great entertainer. But kind of like we were talking about Steve, if John gets to the end, now a lot has happened between now and the end, but like, what's John, like, how does John sell himself? Because we saw an example in Big Brother Canada 3 where, like, Godfrey, who played a great, like, I'm not comparing the game of John and Godfrey, but it's like Godfrey played a fantastic game that, like, most alumni agreed was potentially better than the Sarah who won, which I also think was a pretty good game. But anyway, a lot of people really loved Godfrey's game, but he wasn't able to communicate that with the jury, and he wasn't able to, convince them because they just didn't understand it. Is John playing the type of game where, like, it's going to be hard for him to convince the jury of all of the things he's doing? Like, hey, I threw everything because you asked me to, but I'm still here. Like,
no.
what kind of, like, hit?
No, okay. This, depending on how self-aware Johnny Mac is, he's highly intelligent. He's described himself as a super fan. Of course, I know that McCrae understands that super fan is a spectrum, so we don't know where Johnny Mac falls on that. But this is the thing. Johnny Mac can say, yes, okay, first part of the game, I worked with the power couple. I worked with Shelley and Clay. I promised to throw competitions. They kept me safe. I worked through that section of the game where nobody else could. Through the middle part of the game, because if he makes the end, he will have overcome Vanessa's wrath, most likely. Through the person who was the most deadly and influential person during the game, if he can survive her and then win his way to the final two, he'll have, I mean, he's won tons of Battle of the Blocks. He's won, well, I don't know about tons. He's won Battle of the Block. He's won POVs. He's been a comp threat, and he still hasn't been really, like, targeted. So I think that he could actually be able to articulate a winning pitch, especially if you get somebody like Steve or Meg or, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, even one of the twins, honestly. Even though I think the twins will have too many friends in the jury.
He's got to make like a dentist and shoot a lion, and that big old lion's gonna be Vanessa. Like he's got to get that fucking head
What
mounted.
dentist do you go to?
He's got to have that
dentist do you go to?
head mounted. The one that came out of Minnesota that shot old
Oh,
Leo the
yeah.
lion or whatever the fuck. But that's what he's got to do. He's got to fucking hang her head, mount it. He's got to set that sucker up and just fucking.
right, that's right.
Oh my god. Okay,
Revel in the
here's
glory.
something I'm gonna throw out to the producers, Big Brother, Canada, US. I know you're all watching On the Block, Sheyld Show crossover, Worlds Collide episode. Here's what you have to do. You have to film the final three's plea, their speech, their vote for me. Here's why. You film
Yes.
that and show it to them in jury and give them a couple days to meditate on it. Don't just show it to them after they've already, mentally clicked in who they're going to vote for. They drive to the studio that day being like, okay, I know who I'm voting for. I've had fucking weeks to think about it. I've colluded with my other jury members. We've got whatever jury alliance is fucking going to happen in there. I know who I'm voting for. And then they do the speech. It means nothing. Listen, give them 1 or 2 days to stew on the speech, really think about it, watch it as many times as they can, film their reactions to it. It'll be entertaining to watch. And I think it'll be you can be much more agentic in your own victory that way. If Dan Giesling was able to give his speech, and maybe he gives a better speech than Ian, and people actually kind of sit there and think about, okay, maybe that's a bad example. But I do think that if you have like a time to just sit back and digest something, I think Godfrey is a perfect example for this.
I do
He gives a
too.
speech, and people are like, well, you know what? We never really considered Godfrey as a big player, but he does make some good points. He made these certain moves. You don't have enough time to do that with the bright lights on you. Fuck, you're lucky if you vote for the right fucking person if you're there, you're that nervous.
Yeah.
So, they're not thinking about the speeches and all that. Probably some of them, somebody like Andrew Monahan, the speech, he wouldn't even listen to it. He'd be like, he'd hear wah, 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 because he gets nervous under that kind of, like, bright lights in the studio and stuff.
Yeah.
So, give
I think
it
that's
to
a
them
good
in the
idea.
jury, let them stew on it.
That's a pretty good
Yeah.
idea.
At least
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It'll never happen, but
Why don't you think that would happen? Because it's basically like
The
like
switch between 2 and 3, or between 3 and 4, or whatever the jury sequester.
because the time frame is so short. Oh, because So you'd have it. So they're all sitting around the fire. They're all talking about the jury. Or sorry, the jury's talking about the final 3 or 4 at that point, usually what it is, and then halfway through somebody enters.
Yeah.
Well, what that person enters with, not only with information and the surprise, is a little video clip, and now they're all sitting around a fire and they watch because they kind of did it in Big Brother Canada 2, except for it was to Canada. So John, Netta, and Sabrina all gave their plea to why Canada should vote for them. To me, that's no different than expressing that to the people who actually played the game with you. Can you imagine if you got 30 seconds of because it's like you're sitting there beside him. It's like, oh, this guy sucks, and you got to give me the money. Some people might not want to do that, and you're trying to still curate or censor yourself to a certain degree to not make a light enemy, but still trying to win a game. So can you imagine getting 30 seconds of just it's just you and the DR. There's no or I don't know, maybe they do it up, but in the most fundamental way, it's you and the DR. You get 30 seconds of a rehearsed speech. You say that last juror comes in, and it's okay, now you know the games of all of the 3 people who remain. you understand complete, like, let's use Big Brother 3 for an example. You know what Ashley did, you know what Sarah did, you know what Godfrey did. You can make kind of you have a more informed opinion, a more direct opinion, and then once you get there on the day, yes, everyone's going to have their preconceived notions, but it's like, okay, now we're thinking that, these are the kind of things that, person A was saying in their thing that we heard. Now they're in a position where they're final two, they have to make that decision, or the final three, they have to make that decision who's going to be the final two, and it's like, I agree with Alec. I think it would add a whole.
I think it'd be awesome.
I do too.
Here's what I suggest. You guys get that approved for season 4 of Canada, and I guarantee the U.S. will pick it up. In an attempt to oh yeah, we're gonna that's what's gonna happen. I'd love to see that. I think that'd be an awesome element to add.
It'd be great. I think it'd be great because it would really the jury. There's so much more attention can be paid to jury stuff to keep the jury honest. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. No, or at least keep their minds open. That's what you're saying is like do that to at least keep their minds open and not form an opinion before they go in there. I would love it. So
it also stops from something like, say if we're all, use Tala as an example, and we're all just sitting there like, you know what? Maybe Tala was just a mastermind, and she was just playing us all, and that kind of weird this idea can snowball until everyone starts believing that Tala is some kind of mastermind. And if she goes in and gives her speech and is just like, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a mastermind at all. I'm exactly who you all thought I was. Like, if she can't articulate, what we're all kind of suspecting, then it's like, yeah, I think just like less. I think the winners will be more deserved that way.
I think it's great. I like it. I'm for it. My vote. I endorse that.
Yeah.
I endorse that.
I'll bring it up.
Anyway,
Make sure you,
all right. Well, guys, hey, let's go ahead and wrap this up. That way, make sure people have plenty of time to watch it. Anyway, I think it's a good spot because we're all in agreement on that.
I agree.
Anyway, do you agree? All right. Okay. Peter, Alec, what do y'all have to plug? You anything going on that you want to shout out or anything?
I'd like to plug the fact that I am now becoming a YouTube sensation. I have 3 videos up now. 2 of them are from a few years ago. One of them is my audition tape. The other one is a get well soon message to Peter. And I thank you both for contributing to that. Absolutely. And then I recently uploaded a fun vacation video of a few of us at Cultist Lake. So I don't remember my YouTube name, but I'm trying to become a sensation. So everyone comment and help me do that.
Go make him a sensation.
I would like to become a YouTube sensation, please.
For me, I just thank you guys for having us here on this crossover episode. Unprecedented. I don't think any other show, not Rob has the podcast, not Dick and Knight, no other Big Brother podcast like review show has done a crossover event quite to this magnitude. So
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having us be a part of it.
Thank you.
Good for us.
And, of course, to all of our new Christian on the block fans, you can watch Alec and I every week. YouTube.com/also Peter Brown. You can follow us on Twitter @also Peter Brown and @Alec Beal. We do Sheyld shows with a Big Brother alumni every week. Break it down, give our own unique kind of Canadian input on the game, and we do it for U.S., Canada. So thank you.
The only difference is you guys drink a lot more Tim Hortons.
I don't drink Tim Hortons at all. I don't drink coffee.
You're crazy. That's why you're not.
I don't drink coffee either.
Timmy's, baby.
Wait,
Timmy's
we'll
all day.
allow you guys to plug your stuff as well. There's some Sheyld show watchers here that might want to be interested on the blog.
I just want to say thank you
Christians,
for
maybe a couple,
watching. Hopefully,
Mennonites.
maybe some atheists or what have you. Thanks. Everyone. Some hopefully new fans from Sheyld show. Thank you guys, and hopefully you'll check out our stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know when our schedule is. I don't know, Spencer. You got
as you could fucking probably clearly know him. It's keeping up with it. It's Monday, Thursday, Saturday at 9:30. So make sure you subscribe, and also you can follow us @ontheblockpod, and we've got a BB live feed updater there that's doing a kick-ass job. So go follow @ontheblockpod for live feed updates. And like I said, hit that subscribe button. Follow me Spencer B. Clausen. And shit, that's all I got, guys. Awesome crossover episode. We definitely need to make this like an annual thing for BB Can 4 and keep going. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you guys for having us on the
it
Sheyld
seems
show.
like there's almost like a not like a podcast wars almost where people get, you know what I mean? Like they get really protective of their brand or whatever, and that's just goofy.
I think
so.
we're
I think
sister
it's fucking
shows.
badass.
We're sister
Yeah, exactly.
shows. We're
Exactly.
Sister,
We're
yeah.
sister shows.
Sister shows. I don't know. That's what you call it, right? Sister.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what you call it. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got nothing else to plug. I just want to give a big shout out to EarthDog who came up with some awesome graphics, like pretty much the
Thank
day
you.
of.
Fuck yes.
Under the Wire
Dude,
as always, which is
I
fucking
said-
amazing.
I sent EarthDog a DM about making that overlay for this, and like within hours, I had this most badass image back in my direct messages, and EarthDog kills it every fucking time. Sorry, hopefully next time I can give you a lot more heads up if we need a special
Everyone
one.
go
Thank
follow EarthDog. We'll put
you.
the
And
link in our
Hamster
stuff.
Watch,
And
hamsterwatch.com,
and all that good stuff.
Holla.
All right, thank you
Yeah,
guys.
all right, thanks, later.
Should I walk it out? Okay, all right. Thanks everyone for watching, and just everyone take care and watch more Big Brother and just consume and let it be ever consuming to you as well. And thanks everyone, and take care, guys. Bye.
Consume!
Bye.